This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon/2headed nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat in Omaha, in caverns deep below the metro area, it is our pleasure to welcome you to episode 791. That is only 12 episodes before episode 800 by my count of the Two-Headed Nerd comic book podcast. I'm your head number one. My name is Matt Baum. The government is shut down, but we ask that you refrain from looting any local comic shops. Now, Walmart, Home Depot, and any other big box store that supports this administration, they are fair game. Go get what you need, folks.
I'm the Internet's Joe Patrick, your head number two. Matt, the cops don't stop working during a government shutdown. Just the millionaires on Capitol Hill.
Hold on. I thought they were the man as well. Now I don't know what's going on here.
Well, here's the thing. You can be the man, but also be held down by the man. You know what I mean? There are different levels of man.
I don't get any of this.
I know. It's time for another new comic show where we'll review 8 comics from the past 2 new comic book days. After that, we'll set you up with our must-read new comic picks for next week.
In this episode, we'll grapple with Tom Taylor's spooky new Batman story, dodge swords and fangs while Vikings fight werewolves, bang our heads to the return of Zartan's band, scratch our heads thinking about the Black Eyed Peas' take on the Ultimate Hawkeye, and absolutely lose it over Al Ewing's opposite of the Justice League. All this and more because it is review time in the Ziggurat.
Before we shut down this show over yet another funding argument, let's explain how our rating system works. Each comic we review is run through multiple levels of committee votes.
Yes.
Before ultimately receiving a rating on our 3-point scale of buy it, skim it, or leave it. Then we pick the best comic we reviewed to enter the THN Permanent Collection. Macho, we don't need no government to tell us what to do. Fetch our review comics, and then to the streets!
I don't think this shutdown will be as exciting as you're predicting, sirs. Here are your review comics for the week of Wednesday, the 24th of September.
Let's start this week with something sure to wash the week's news out of your mind. Viking Moon, #1 from Image. It's written by Joe Pruitt with art and cover by Marcelo Fruzen. Letters by Joe Martin. It's 32 pages. It is $3.99. Here's your solicit. In 1003, Leif Erikson established a Viking settlement in Vineland, which is your present-day Newfoundland. Casey's mom, born in Newfoundland. She's a Newfie. A strange new world of plenty, but populated by indigenous people and something else. Something unnatural. 20 years after the original expedition ended in disaster, a new attempt to settle this wilderness is made. It's not going to go well.
I don't see how it could go wrong.
There's just a wonderful setup here, and it's simple and it's to the point, and it just doesn't mess around. We came to this book for Vikings versus werewolves. We are going to get Vikings versus werewolves, and it does not take long for Pruitt and Fruzen to get into the action. Speaking of which, I forget how good Marcelo Fruzen is at this. He is absolutely incredible. And I think I just haven't seen him for a while. So like the name registered. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. And then I saw the art and was like, oh shit, it's that guy.
Right. I remember the name being fairly prominent in the early 2000s when we were kind of coming up at the comic shop.
Yeah, like you worked at Hellblazer and you worked on Loveless, and like the guy's incredible.
But I don't know that he's done a ton of stuff in mainstream comics lately.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's been doing European stuff, but this book looks amazing. The fury in the faces of his Vikings and his Native Americans, and the red eyes of the werewolves and teeth, and then just black outlined blue fur in the darkness. It is friggin' scary. His Vikings are howling beasts. There's so much detail in the panels, like down to their braids and their armor and carvings on boats. The coloring is just perfect because it's all sort of like early morning or dusk. So nothing, like, things are happening during the day.
The sun is not high in the air.
I mean, it is.
Because it's werewolf time.
It is, but things are safe and pretty normal when the sun is up. And then as the sun goes down or before the sun comes up, all hell breaks loose, which is, you know, typical horror stuff. Oh, it's really well paced. There's nothing real deep going on here other than it's a fun sort of revisionist history take on Leif Erikson and Viking settlements that really did take place back in the day. They came Native American before Christopher Columbus came and ruined everything, you know. But I don't know if they met werewolves or not. If they did, it didn't go poorly, and these guys are telling an excellent story about it. They just understood the assignment, and they're setting up an amazingly illustrated story of Vikings stumbling across something that's even scarier than the Native Americans that they are afraid of. This is a buy it. And it's not just smashing toys together. Pruitt has thought about this.
No.
He's put together a really good story, and you can see mistakes are instantly made. And maybe there was a chance you would get a little help here. Not anymore.
Right.
Now you're just
right. Yeah. And so you kind of danced around that, so I won't spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
stuff
it.
like that where you can see that more thought was put into this than just Vikings land and then the werewolves show up.
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
You know, it's a complex situation. And it's funny. A message just popped up on our Discord. Frank literally just read Viking Moon #1.
All right. It was great.
Yeah. Hey. So Frank, by the time you hear this, you'll know. It's awesome. This is a buy it from me. The art is incredible, even down to, like, you mentioned the details, but like things such as the blades aren't pristine, right?
No.
They're bumpy and dented. You know, they've seen a lot of battle.
Yeah. These guys are
like
Vikings.
These are guys that have been at sea and they've been in some shit.
Well, they're not knights in armor. They don't spend all day shining, sharpening their swords.
Right. Exactly. And they don't have, you know, squires to keep their shit clean. And yeah, it's really well done. Very well done. This is a buy it from me. While we're on the topic of creatures of the night, let's move on to Detective Comics 1101, a number so high it seems made up. This is from DC Comics. It's written by Tom Taylor.
Are you sure it's not 11,001?
11,001. Written by Tom Taylor, art, color, and cover by Mikkel Janin. Letters are by Wes Abbott. It's 28 pages for $4.99. Again, with these weird numbers. I think that the site we get these numbers from is that they're counting weird. I'm not sure how, but here's your solicit. It's short and sweet. Criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Batman has long depended on this mantra to uphold justice in Gotham City. But what if Gotham City was completely devoid of fear? Would this lead to a city free of inhibitions, or a populace driven suicidal by an inability to process mortal terror? To answer this question, the Dark Knight will embark on a harrowing adventure that must be seen to be believed. Many of DC's all-in titles had new jumping on points last month, and it's been a while since I checked in with Detective Comics. I get so caught up reviewing things for the show that I'm not up to date on the things that I really, really enjoy. The first thing that you notice when you open up this comic is that it is stunningly beautiful. Mikkel Janin is a creative beast, and now he's doing his own colors too, or maybe he always was. I have no idea.
I don't think he was. I mean,
don't think he was either.
Yeah, because I don't remember his stuff.
I'm not interested in looking it up.
Good. I don't remember his stuff looking like this. You know?
Like, yeah, this artwork hums. The colors are this kind of soft, not too saturated palette, and it contrasts nicely with the horrific nature of the stuff that's being depicted in the artwork. And the stuff in the art is brutal. I mean, yes, it mostly happens like we're seeing the aftermath of it, but the implications, like they pull no punches here, like scores of dead bodies. I loved the depiction of Batman in the child's memory from the prologue at the beginning. As an actual creature of the night, like this kid imagined him as a literal monster, and it's so cool looking.
Janin does just enough, by the way. Like he doesn't. It's not
right,
like
yeah, exactly.
Man bat looking like this is Batman, and he's just like he's got claws, he's got fangs, he's wearing the bat suit. He's a little hairy
looking. Yeah, right. Taylor writes a great Batman. He's grim, he's no nonsense, but he's also somebody that respects his allies and the people that he's helping. He is not the emotionally crippled sociopath of years past that we got so tired of back in the day. This is very clearly going off of the costume, Matt Fraction's Batman, so suck it, Jeff Loeb. The plot is interesting to me. It feels kind of new. This thing is like removing the fear from people. And it is absolutely just as bad, if not worse, than what shit the Scarecrow does. Like, imagine if you were not afraid of hurting yourself.
For sure. And I think they're going to lean into this. Obviously, it's the Scarecrow, but it's not going to be the Scarecrow.
I mean, I think it's this kid. Yeah. Quite frankly, I think they want us to think it's this kid. I've been missing my monthly Batman fix. Like, don't get me wrong. We get a ton of Batman in every other book we read. But I've been missing my monthly solo Batman because I've been way behind on Detective, and Hush 2 just fucking sucks.
Well, ignore Hush 2 and read Dark Patterns.
Dan Watters does Batman Dark Patterns, which I am behind on.
That's fantastic.
So I need to catch up. But between those three books, those two books and this one, the new Fraction book, Dark Patterns, and this, Bat fans are in great shape. This is a buy it from me. Thought it was awesome.
Yeah, Mikkel Janin, he has this way of, he's got an amazing superhero style, but also uses photo referencing in such a way that it melds perfectly, where a lot of artists can't pull that off. He absolutely nails it. And goddamn, this guy draws the hell out of Batman.
You know what? Janin uses photo reference in such a skilled way, very similar to Andrea Sorrentino.
Yeah. I 100% agree. But even Sorrentino,
where he's not just tracing something, he's drawing something that he's using reference to draw.
I think you can really see that photo reference. And I think Janin is much better at not necessarily hiding it, but just putting it together as a package. So it's just like,
composing it. Sure.
God damn, this is slick. It looks so good.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I don't want to blow your mind, Matt, and I can't speak for Mikkel Janin, but sometimes an artist is just that good that they can draw.
But, I mean, like, look at this battleship.
And
what I'm saying is,
shit.
like, look at this battleship. This looks like there's some computer stuff going on here, the boat and everything.
I mean, a lot of artists use,
and that's fine.
Programs to kind of help them develop the framework, like a reference to create reference.
Right. And I don't have a problem with that. Even like the bat jet that he has, which I don't love the design on. It's cool. It looks good though. It doesn't look like he jumped out of a CG bat jet and there's a drawn character is what I'm saying. He's so good at this.
I was actually kind of sad that he referred to it as the plane, because I wanted it to just be the Bat Boat. Let it be the Bat Boat.
Oh, fair enough.
Have more than one thing, Batman. It's fine.
Well, but it gets to go in the water too. So hey, like,
that's what I mean. It's the Bat submarine.
you only
then.
need one thing, I guess. Anyway, this book looks absolutely incredible. Tom Taylor is doing a great job on this. It's a huge buy it from me. If you are a lapsed Batman fan, it is a hell of a good time to come back and check out The Dark Knight. We'll be talking about 2 alternate universes in the Marvel and DCEUs, but we're going to start with Ultimate Hawkeye, number 1. From Marvel, written by Dennis Camp, who works on the prologue, and then B. Earl and Taboo, our boys from the Black Eyed Peas, work on the main story. The art is by Juan Frigeri on the prologue, and then Mikhail Sta. Maria. What is that? How do I say that? Mikhail
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't either. Federico Bleed is the colors on the prologue, Alex Sinclair on the main story, but Joe Sabino does the letters for all of it because he's a badass. Cover by R.B. Silva and Dave Curiel. It's 32 pages for $5.99. The solicit is very short and sweet. Ultimate Hawkeye targets the Maker. I mean, sorta. Spinning out of the Ultimates, breakout hit character Hawkeye goes on a covert solo op that will have massive impact on the future of the Ultimate Universe. I don't think they knew what this story was going to be when they wrote the solicit.
I mean, he targets the Maker in so much that he is targeting
somebody that works with the Maker. I guess.
Cabal of
I'm just saying it's a safe solicit. Right? They could have done anything here. And the opening story is very cool. It's Dennis Camp. For a few pages, we get to see Hawkeye hunting Ulysses Claw, an ultimate version of him, who is not quite as ridiculous as the Claw that we know. He's just a guy with a robot eye. He's an arms dealer. But it's absolutely gorgeous because Frigeri is drawing it. Now, I admit, I don't love the hunter-killer arrow, like the aspect that they keep using for this Ultimate Hawkeye, because in my mind, it takes away from the fact that Hawkeye is this marksman, because the hunter killer arrow does all the work. It turns left, it turns right, it goes up, and it does what you need it to do.
Yeah.
It's still cool. I mean, because it makes sense that Tony Stark created this. So yeah, the arrows would need some help. I make
allowances for it because this is not Clint Barton.
I agree.
We know Clint Barton's past. We know his training. This is a kid who found Hawkeye's gear.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. Now, in the preview art that you're going to see on YouTube, you're not going to see any of this first story because they didn't even put it in there. It was just preview art for the other story by B. Earl and Taboo. The second story, we get to see Hawkeye going undercover to a weird sex party where he will be thrust into gladiatorial battle against a mysterious masked man who seems to have it out for him. Joe, who could it possibly be in that
I don't know.
Ronin costume? It's like they make it so.
I think it's Ultimate Daredevil.
They make it so violently obvious that we're going to see Hawkeye versus Clint Barton, who is supposed to be Hawkeye in the Marvel Universe. And I think that is what makes this character very interesting. He's not the guy, right? The package with the quiver and the arrows was supposed to go to Clint Barton. This other dude found it. And he's doing whatever he wants with it. Like we saw Captain America on the pages of the Ultimates find this Hawkeye and be like, you're not the guy, but you're really good at this. So come on. You're on board. You're with us now.
I think they found him. He was just like fucking up.
Yeah. He was trashing Roxxon stuff is what he was doing.
Right. Yeah. He was just doing revolutionary shit on his own.
Well, he's Native American.
And the Ultimates were like, let's go.
Yeah. He's Native American. Roxxon has ruined most of the Midwest where they had reservations and whatnot, where they were already screwed. And so he's like an anti-Roxxon terrorist. That's cool. I can dig on that. Now, we've talked about the way Taboo and B. Earl write stories before, and I am not going to allow my complete hatred for the Black Eyed Peas to color this at all, but I will say this dialogue is super cheeseball. It's cheesy.
It's very cheesy.
And we have
I found it especially egregious in Clint's dialogue, the way he spoke. I was like, Clint Barton would never talk like this.
No, there's like a scene where like Clint Barton, who maybe Clint is mad, but Tony Stark wanted him to get this gear because he was going to be a good guy, right? And this Clint Barton is like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. and I understand they're being forced to fight, but this Clint totally seems into it. And he says like,
well, he's trying to save his family. He's trying to protect his family, just like Ultimate
And
Hawkeye
I get that, but there's one thing to say like, hey man, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this either, but I can't let my family die.
No,
and it's another thing
it's the bloodlust.
to say you were never supposed to get that quiver and arrows, and now I'm going to take it from you one shaft at a time, which kind of sounds like he's going to bend over and the other Hawkeye is going to give it to him one shaft at a time. And it like by the end of this, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but by the end of this, it doesn't seem like our Hawkeye, our Ultimate Hawkeye, really learned anything. He just went some broad called the Exterminatrix, which real missed opportunity to do Ultimate Arcade here, right?
No, the Exterminatrix is. Do you remember the Grant Morrison Marvel boy?
Yeah. But
that's who this is. The Exterminatrix.
Why?
And she's been in the background of the Ultimate books.
I mean, I guess you're right.
She's one of the Cabal.
I guess you're right. That's true. I don't know. It seemed like a missed opportunity for an Ultimate Arcade.
I mean, it's considering that it's this game,
but that's not even my problem. You know, like I will say the art very good. Very solid, like very detailed, looks good. The fight scene is great and everything. It's just, it gets a little cheesy with the setup and the dialogue. And then in the end, after they're like, hey, we just proved we can target and murder your family anytime we want to. So you work for us now. He's like, nuh-uh. Okay, but
what did you expect? Him to roll over?
Not necessarily roll over, but like he's kind of screwed. At least panic, at least be a little worried, at least not know what to do. He's just so confident. In fact, like, no way, bro. Even says like, I'm going to go home and cook up some fry bread. Just then I'm going to cook up some revenge. Like, okay. This is a skim it. It's a skim it. It's not terrible.
Yes, it's cheesy. Yes.
It's a very good looking one shot. I just don't think it did a lot for this character that I really liked. And I honestly, I would have just much rather seen like a flashback or something, how he got to where he was at, why he's doing what he was doing or something. This just didn't do much for Ultimate Hawkeye. It's a skim it.
I agree with you on the rating. I was maybe a little bit more forgiving on parts of it. Like I didn't mind, the going home to like cooking up grandma's fry bread. Like I wanted him to have his, indigenous experience as part of his character, but the dialogue, like the Clint Barton dialogue, and some of it was so corny. And at the end, I was like, okay, so Hawkeye loses bad. And his lesson is, I need to be smarter now about what I'm doing. And so do you need to read this one shot? No.
Not really.
But is it an interesting little snapshot of a character that probably needed a little bit more fleshing out? Sure. Is it great? No. It's okay. It's a skim it. The art is beautiful. But I do like this version of Hawkeye a lot.
I love this character. I really like
Charlie Ramsey is their name.
Yeah.
Non-binary and indigenous domestic terrorist. He's awesome.
Sure.
Or they're awesome. Time to see if we can find a book Matt thinks is more boring than Void Rivals. It's Skinbreaker #1 from Image Comics /Skybound. It's written by Robert Kirkman. It's got art by David Finch, colors by Annalisa Leone, letters are by Russ Wooten, the covers by Finch and Leone. It's 32 pages for $4.99. Here's your solicit. Also short and sweet. Enor has led his tribe for many seasons, but his time as chieftain is coming to an end. He wields the mighty Skinbreaker, but at his age, he can barely lift it. Will Enor's reluctant heir, Anok, take over before their world falls to ruin? As a bloody power struggle begins, an even bigger threat lurks in the darkness beyond their village. If you've been wondering where David Finch has been, Kirkman says he's been working on this series for 8 years.
It shows. I'll tell you what, it shows. This art is amazing.
It does. And we're going to talk about that right now. 2 books in a row, I was like, I am much more inspired to talk about the art first because that's how impressive I found it. In the back matter, Kirkman says Finch chose to draw this comic on gigantic artboards, almost twice the size of traditional comic book pages, which means
that makes sense. Looking at it.
Which means so for those of you that aren't super familiar, a comic book art page that an artist will draw on is about 11 by 14 or 11 by 17. 14 by 17. And so it's big, yeah. But imagine twice that size. Now imagine the book is full of double page spreads.
Yeah.
Like the scale that Finch had to draw this at is kind of mind boggling. And the result is undeniably beautiful.
It's incredible. This is his best work. I don't think there's any question.
I think you're right. The design work is also incredible. The humanoids, the creatures, the landscapes, they're all truly alien, but also recognizable. The level of detail in every single page is breathtaking. There is nothing left out. Even if the camera, so to speak, is positioned in such a way that all you would see is the bare ground underneath a fallen character's head or the clear sky behind a standing character's head, there's something going on in the artwork, either that Finch put there or the colorist put there. And that leads me to talk about Annalisa Leone. I have never heard of her before. These colors are brilliant.
Yeah.
They are brilliant.
Yeah. Just amazing coloring.
The palette is like very limited, really. It's a lot of darker oranges, yellows, and greens, but it's not a lot of super intense color at all. And the result of the combination of these two creators is just like, you have to see it to believe it.
Well, there are some things that definitely are very outlandishly colored in this colorscape.
Yes, but because they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
right. They're supposed to be.
But for a reason, it makes sense.
Like, for example, the blade, the blade of the Skinbreaker is like hot pink.
Yeah,
because it's this pink shard of glass-looking.
Definitely not supposed
mineral
to be here. It's from somewhere else. No question.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Unfortunately, Kirkman's story, it doesn't really keep the pace with the tremendous art. There's nothing wrong with it at all, but it is so familiar. There is a little bit of an interesting twist about what the Skinbreaker blade does and the village's like relationship to it. Otherwise, this book is full of story themes that you have seen 100 times before. Like, think about Avatar, the movie Avatar, where you're like, wow, what a technical achievement. What a brilliant looking movie. Oh, this movie is just like every white man comes to. I mean, it's sort of like that in the sense that
I don't think that's a good metaphor at all.
No. I don't mean that the stories are similar. I mean, the style of, like, the level of creativity in the story does not match the incredible visuals, is my point. The art is astonishing. I cannot undersell that, but Skinbreaker desperately needed a more interesting hook than what is on display in the story of the first issue. I'm giving it a strong skim it. I will be back because I want to see if Kirkman can develop something. But I think that this is a similar problem that some people had with Void Rivals, or might still have, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of cool ideas and the art looks good, but the story is just like,
I don't know if I can disagree with you more on this. I thought this story was really in depth. They did an incredible job building this world around orcs as well, not human beings, orcs, and they are different and they are alien and they are vicious, but there's also a family side, and they can be kind. And some things they do that seem cruel are for the benefit of certain things. Like, I think this was layered. I think this was interesting.
Okay.
Really well written. Very good fantasy storytelling. This is a massive buy it from me, and I did not find it boring at all. I agree with you.
No, I don't.
Void Rivals.
And, I don't think it's boring either. But like,
I don't think it was all these
is,
tropes that, like, I think they used this really well.
How many times have we seen or read or watched a story where it's like, oh no, the village elder is old. If only somebody would stand up and take control of the village before the mean guy gets control. Like, we have seen that story 1,000 times.
Oh no, Lex Luthor's a good guy again. Oh, how many times have we seen Lex Luthor turn good and then turn evil? Like, come on, you could do that about anything. This is a very well told story. I know you don't love fantasy, but I totally disagree.
That's not it at all. That's not it at all.
Like,
and I appreciate, like, again, that's why it's a strong skim it for me, because your mileage might vary.
I really enjoyed this. I thought it was incredible, and like
that's great. I thought it was very kind of boilerplate story wise with incredible art.
This is also coming from a guy who thought David Finch was done. I honestly thought he was done. I thought, like, this guy lost his fastball. He can't do it anymore. I'm tired of his art, and it looks like he totally reinvigorated his style. This is amazing work. I couldn't give this.
If only he could take 8 years to draw every project.
This is a huge buy it. Yeah, if he's guilty of anything, he's guilty of being slow.
The good thing is that, again, in the back matter where Kirkman told all the stuff about the art boards,
this is done.
It's 100% completely finished.
Yeah.
It will not miss a shipping date unless there's some sort of catastrophe.
Yeah.
Now, boys, let's all try to get along. Here are your review comics for the week of Wednesday, the 1st of October.
Thank you, Macho. And how about a superhero story that Joe Patrick can wrap his head around? This is White Tiger Reborn,
number 1. I didn't think it was confusing.
Nice and simple. Nothing to get you flustered on here.
Whatever.
The Marvel Comics. This is written by Daniel Jose Older. Art by Bruno Abdias. Colors by Marcelo Costa. Letters by Ariana Maher. Cover and forward by Mike Hawthorne and Federico Blee. It's 32 pages. It's $3.99. This is part of Marvel's Voices celebration of Latino History Month, which strangely ran from the 15th of September to the 15th of October. And like,
Hispanic Heritage Month splits the time between September and October. We learned that today. Yeah.
Kind of seems like bullshit to me. Like, let's just give them a month, you guys. Come on.
Right. It's like we got enough of them.
So for those of you who don't remember, Eva Ayala is the current wielder of the powers of the White Tiger, bearing the amulet of power that imbues his host with a connection to a mystical power and martial arts prowess. Sort of like the Black Panther spirit, but this is a White Tiger spirit. You may remember Hector Ayala, the original White Tiger. Didn't end so well for him. Got murdered in the pages of Daredevil a while back. She is your new, young Puerto Rican White Tiger. So I like that they're keeping it in the family. That's cool. And I like this character. In the solicit here, they talk about how Ava is brought face to face with Hector, her dead brother, and the original White Tiger in this special celebration of Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month with never before seen moments of White Tiger's history. Okay, I'm interested. Let's go. All right. Unfortunately,
I'm sorry, wait, what?
Yeah, we don't exactly get anything like that. We get a foreword by the cover artist, Mike Hawthorne, where he talks about how cool it was to see a Puerto Rican superhero in the White Tiger. And I think it's awesome. Yeah, love it.
Uncovers never before seen moments of the White Tiger history.
Yeah, it's right there. Mike only did the cover,
all right,
and then he worked on and then wrote the foreword. This other team did the story, and the story is not bad. The story is fine. And fine at best. We see Ava, like in the beginning, reciting poetry to a bodega cat, like kids do.
The thing is, though, is that she's not a kid.
I mean, she's like 19, 20?
But her niece, Angela Del Toro,
right,
was the previous White Tiger, the one who took over for Hector. She's an FBI agent.
Okay, so they're playing her here like she's a kid. This reads like, I forgot about all that. This reads like she's maybe 18, 19.
Now, I will say I have known some weirdly timed relationships where, uncle and nephew were the same age or wildly different in the opposite direction. It happens.
Maybe that's
when
the
you
case.
Have one sibling that's much older than the other. That's what happens.
Okay, well, maybe it's the case, but the problem doesn't lie in the fact here, like, the character's acting young. What I'm saying is the character is not acting like a kid, but it seems like they're trying to make her act like a kid.
No, I agree with you. She does read as very young.
Yeah, it's really weird. And honestly, we just have this story of how I can't talk to the tiger god anymore, even though the amulet still lights up. So I guess it's still a good nightlight. And she's got her martial arts, which is she's going to need them.
It made her costume appear on her body.
Yes, but she doesn't have any powers? I don't fully understand. And then she's like
the power to kick ass, I guess.
Thrust into a situation with a fortune teller woman who, of course, summons a dead brother. And we're like, all right, here we go. Here comes some unknown history of the White Tiger. Nope. She remembers him smiling, and Despair shows up, and Despair is like, yeah, I've been eating your brother because you're sad. And also I hung up the tiger phone so you can't talk to the White Tiger. And she's like, oh no, well, I will use the power of my brother's love or his smile to win the day and also reconnect with the tiger god and also get new powers that I never had.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that the amulet still gave her the White Tiger costume and stuff,
right.
But she never really had any superhuman powers.
No, and now
until now that she's picked up the tiger phone.
And this is a really weird place to do that in this book. I'm not saying at least they made it mean something. Great. But is there going to be eyes on this? Are people going to buy this? If this were a backup in Daredevil and people read it, maybe you generate some interest and then this creative team can do something with it. But this just felt really rushed, really weird, strangely marketed. The art's not bad. Art's pretty good. Despair looks scary. The fights are good. But I found it impossible to care about Ava or fully understand what was going on with her disconnect from the White Tiger. And I don't ever recall the old White Tiger talking to an actual White Tiger. Maybe I'm wrong there.
I mean, I will confess to not knowing enough about the White Tiger mythos to answer that question.
I think I remember him, but I remember him talking about the spirit, the White Tiger spirit.
I know that the amulet beefed him up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And that was the whole deal was the amulet. You join the three fragments because it used to be Sons of the Tiger.
Yeah.
And each son had one piece.
Right.
And now all three pieces are on one necklace. And that was the whole deal. But I don't remember enough about the history of the White Tiger to know if he communed with the tiger god like T'Challa does with the panther god.
Right. And the backup story where we get a little more of, Ava doing stuff really doesn't add much to it either.
It's her reuniting with they rekindle their relationship.
Sure, which is
the niece and the.
And I'm sure something went down in Champions, and if you liked that book, maybe you're excited about this and this development for the character.
I have no clue.
But if you're not, I didn't read Champions, and I'm sure it was fine.
Was Champions even the right book? I don't know.
Wasn't? Yeah, she was on that team, I believe.
Was she? I don't know.
Maybe it was the other one. Maybe it was the niece. That's the other great part.
Right. We are two dudes that don't necessarily have a firm grasp on the history of the White Tiger. And so it's possible we are missing something.
That's fine. But guess what? This is the perfect place to reintroduce the character of the White Tiger to two dudes that aren't totally clear on the history of this White Tiger, and they didn't do that. Instead, we got a story about how cute Hector was when he smiled, and his smile saved the day. skim it. Like, it just, it just didn't do much for me. I just wish they could do better with these.
To answer a question you posed earlier, do I think that more eyes would be on it if it was a backup in Daredevil? Yeah, probably. But that's not really the point of the Marvel Voices line. And that also kind of answers a question that you asked me earlier. It's like, why didn't Hawthorne just draw the book?
Right.
And it's because Marvel Voices serves multiple purposes.
Sure.
It identifies and lifts up marginalized creators, but also provides a platform for creators that are getting their start or that are not necessarily known for their comic work. Like,
yeah, and I appreciate
the guy that writes the main story is a writer of other works. And so it's almost as if you merged the Tom King writer's workshop that he developed at DC with a different program meant to lift up minority creators and then smashed them together.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's all well and good, but you're serving multiple masters, and are you serving either one of them well enough when you do that?
That's my point. They're not.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not my job to answer that question. But that's just what Marvel Voices is all about. And so it is what it is. And so I read this and I was like, all right, you know what? It's fine.
It's fine.
It's also very corny. It's corny like the Ultimate Hawkeye book is corny. Could they have done more to fill me in on the history of the White Tiger in a one-shot exclusively devoted to the mythos of the character? Yes, probably. I think that would have been nice.
It would have been a nice reintroduction to this character. It's setting them up for something. Because right now it's just like, they had an adventure. What'd you think?
Yeah.
I think they had an adventure. That's where I'm at.
But right now, like, it assumes that you know too much.
Yes.
It assumes that you know why Angela stopped being the White Tiger. It also assumes you know why Angela and Ava are estranged from one another.
Right.
And these are not things that you might know if you are picking this up just because you think it looks cool.
I'll be the first to admit, I guess I thought this was Angela and I forgot Angela's name. That's
correct.
And had they just swapped the names, you'd never know. There seems to be no difference from what I do remember reading about Angela.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a skim it. I like the White Tiger concept a lot, and I'd like to see more of the White Tiger. I would just like them to maybe serve up the character a little bit. I don't know.
Just better, original. There's a good story here with the idea of like, oh, Hector's ghost is around. Hector's ghost is going to train her to be the White Tiger, to use the powers and stuff like that. Tell me that story.
Right.
And reset things
so
with that, like, hey, it's not your fault. Angela was supposed to do the thing and she couldn't do it. So Ava, I came back to help you, but I can only stay for a limited time because hell, despair is chasing me, whatever. That's not bad.
And it's like, it's not the fault of the Marvel's Voices initiative. It's not.
No.
It doesn't matter that it's written or drawn by by creators we have never heard of. It's just not told in a way that makes me care, or there's too many moving parts.
Right.
And so it's a skim. Place your bets, sports fans. DC KO starts in 1 week, but before we get to that, we've got to have one last, I don't know, what do you call the match before the main event?
I would call it a one-shot cash grab.
Yeah, but I mean in wrestling terms, right? Like, what's
it's the undercard, or when you go to get a beer and some pretzels.
One last strange sports metaphor.
I'm putting all my money on Blue Devil, by the way. He's going to clean this thing up. You watch.
Sure.
No one's going to see him coming.
Of course, we are talking about Justice League, the Omega Act, one shot from DC. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Yasmin Putri and Shion Tormi. Colors are by Putri. Letters are by Dave Sharp. Cover by Jorge Fornes. Great cover. It's 44 pages for $5.99. Here's your solicit. Everything since DC All In Special number 1 has been building to this moment. Time Trapper is on the run from Darkseid's Legion, racing through time to learn how to stop Darkseid's conquest. He witnesses how the future is already lost and the only hope of survival lies with the Justice League. That is the opposite of what the Time Trapper's motivation is in this comic. The Time Trapper has a plan to save the DCU, but it means making an impossible offer to the League. And now that I assume will be coming.
So they wrote this solicit before they talked to the Time Trapper? Is that what happened? Or?
I guess, yeah. Like, you know what? We're going to get into it.
Okay, all right.
Just bear in mind, the solicit says the Time Trapper knows that there's one last hope, and it's the Justice League. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment.
All right.
Hey, are you a DC fan who's been living under our rock for the past year? Then have I got the comic book for you. This is a textbook. This is the textbook definition of unnecessary. Williamson is basically taking the Time Trapper, who is also Doomsday. Don't worry about it. And he's taking Wally and Booster Gold on a magical mystery tour of the past year's events up to and including the just concluded Legion of Darkseid storyline in Superman, which I can attest to you is so good. Did you skip the All-In special? No problem. Did you forget what happened in that Justice League Legion of Doom time travel story? They got you. Do you want to read 40 pages of Doomsday telling everyone that there is absolutely, definitely 100% no hope of winning, not even the Justice League, which they just told us in the solicit? Well, good news, because that's what this comic is. If DCKO had started this summer, this one-shot could have been the free comic book day special that preceded it. As it is so disposable. They didn't even bother to put a credits page in it. And I'm telling you, I went back and forth 4 times from cover to cover looking for it.
Did this come out in print or was it digital only?
Well, I got it digitally. I'm sure it's also in print.
Okay, because I didn't see it like shipping and stuff even.
You can get it from comic shops, I think.
Okay, I didn't see it shipping this week, so I wasn't sure.
You know what? That actually is a good point, because when we were doing, we were talking about the Legion of Darkseid stuff on the Discord, and I was making my pick for this week. I happened to see this book on the release list, and I had never heard of it. So I wonder if it was like a surprise secret that they added.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, who knows? On the positive side, the art's really nice all the way throughout. The Yasmin Putri and Sean Tormey do a great job. Williamson does add the barest amount of forward momentum with this kind of intriguing flashback that's spread throughout the issue. I'm not going to spoil anything about that. But this primer should have been given to fans for free in some other kind of way to get them interested in the main event. For completists or fans that just want to read one comic and one comic only to catch them up for DCKO, I'm giving this a skim it, and that's barely. Otherwise, I don't know why you'd bother.
I didn't read it. Like I could not find it, so I was unable to read it.
I understand.
And Joe,
I get it.
Joe refused to share his copy with me. I don't know why. I mean, like I assumed something horrible happened to it on the toilet, so he wouldn't. He was so embarrassed.
I bought it on Amazon, and it automatically synced to my Kindle app, and there was no way for me to get it to you.
Yeah, well, that sucks. Yeah, no, I'll have to abstain here, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. It looked like a cash grab. So.
It is. It's a cash grab.
Let's talk about how you do a one-shot right with Absolute Evil #1 from DC. It's written by Al Ewing, art by Giuseppe Camuncoli, inks by Stefano Nessi, colors by Romulo Fiardo Jr., letters by Tom Napolitano, main cover by Camuncoli, Nessi, and Fiardo Jr. It is 36 pages. It is $5.99. Like all the Absolute solicits, it's very short. It's the 1-year anniversary of the Absolute Universe, and its villains stand united. Without heroes, without protection, without restraint, there is only absolute evil. This reminded me so much of the Nick Fury Ultimate one-shot, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Where we said, okay, now you got to beat on like what's going on with all Ultimate Heroes. Here's what the villains are actually doing. And I think we really enjoyed that. We loved it. It was framed with Nick Fury. And there really isn't a Nick Fury character here. There are two characters that I thought possibly could be that character or fill his shoes. And by the end, I was like, never mind. One of them,
not that one.
Yeah, that's one of them is dead, and the other one is definitely bad. So this sets up an entire history, basically, for this Absolute Universe, complete with their version of the JSA. And spoilers, didn't go quite the same way as the regular JSA. It was way worse. Like page 1, and you're seeing this if you're looking at it on YouTube. Hawkman is full on like anti-communist shithead. Just like, what do you want to know about these heroes?
He named names, right? Yeah.
He came out and he not only named names, he took money. He helped hunt them down. He is a bad, bad guy. We get a look at some of these JSA characters and what happened to them. We get to see all the big...
In fact, let me stop you real quick, because we don't actually even see the JSA. We see characters that we know as fans, as members of the JSA in the main Earth. But like, here's what happened to Ted Grant.
Yeah,
there was no JSA. Ted Grant, this happened to Ted.
Well, I think Ewing is framing this in a way where he's saying... In the regular DCU, the JSA got together and people saw that and were like, I want to be a hero too. It like influenced the Justice League as we have them today. In this world, they saw that that characters may be thinking about getting together, and they went, we're going to nip that in the bud.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And they took care of it. And the group of baddies that we have in the room in the modern day who are talking about Absolute Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and one other character who I won't name that we thought was going to be joining the ranks soon here. They are doing the same thing. And Hawkman just happens to still be around. He's still on the bad side, unfortunately. Like, this is essentially a book of Giuseppe Camuncoli, aside from a couple things, just writing talking heads, a bunch of talking heads in the room, talking heads on the phone.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Talking heads staring at each other, talking heads staring each other down. And it is excellent. It is terrifying. It is palpable how evil these people are. He writes a Joker speech, and this is the absolute Joker we're talking about, who we know is a nightmare. And I don't mean like death metal, cut your face off, spiked eyeballs. I mean like straight up sociopath genius.
He's an emotionless, humorless.
He is a nihilistic monster is what he is. And they are setting up exactly what we talked about and predicted in last week's Gang Hang. They're basically setting up.
No. Don't say it.
Okay, I won't say it. But there is a reason this universe is the way that it is. So it makes sense that in this universe, what this group sees as the right thing to do is a very bad thing. It's so well told and well done. I loved this one shot, and it sets up this whole Absolute Evil storyline perfectly, and how we're going to weave this into the other Absolute books now that we've introduced those characters. It just turns out the bad guys just like the DCU, where the good guys are all unified doing their thing. Well, the bad guys did it here first, and it's going to be really scary. This is a
right. And now
this is an absolute buy it.
In the absolute universe, the good guys aren't unified.
Yeah, that's the point.
And that's bad news. I expected it to be good. I mean, it's Al Ewing, and so I expected it to be good. This comic does so many wonderful, twisted, surprising things.
Yeah.
That kind of fill in the nature of the absolute universe that until now we were missing. Right.
Right.
We only know from the point Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman showed up.
Also from
now we
only know from their point of view.
Right.
Like that's
and now we know more.
Right.
And also on a more macro level, we understand like cosmically why the absolute universe is the way it is, which I wasn't expecting them to actually go there, and they did.
Yeah.
And so there are two moments at the end of this comic, and I would have like either one of them could have been the last page, and they both would have been like jaw on the floor. Like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
And the first one that I stopped Matt from spoiling, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, of course that's what it is.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
And then the second one was so unexpected that I was not expecting there to be a second scene after the credits page at all.
Yeah, this is just like the teaser. This is just like the little credit teaser. That's all it is. And man, is it good.
Oh God, this is a buy. This is a buy. If there is one comic that you should read to get you pumped about a thing, it's Absolute Evil to get you excited about the absolute universe.
Yeah.
Like that Justice League Omega thing, which I guess is its Earth 0 or Earth 1 counterpart, is a wet fart compared to this.
I think they picked up on that after what you said.
Good.
What would you do?
It's huge by it.
Where would you go?
Has to top Absolute Evil, or else what else are we doing here? It's G.I. Joe Cold Slither. It's a one-shot from Image Comics, Skybound. It's written by Tim Seeley. It's got art by Juan Cabal, colors by Rex Locust, the most amazingly named colorist in the business. Letters are by Pat Brousseau. Cover is by Steve Beach. It's 32 pages for $3.99. Here's your solicit. The greatest band ever reunites to rock and rule the world. Discover the true, story of what happened to Cold Slither through the eyes of the band themselves, who were, of course, not the Dreadnoks on an undercover mission. But as Cobra is topping the charts and dominating the world, can G.I. Joe find a way to change the tune? I kind of wish they didn't do the tongue-in-cheek little asides there. It would have been funnier without it.
I mean, like, let's look what we're talking about here. Come on.
I mean, I get it. I get it. Anyone who frequents the THN Discord will know that we have a real fondness for G.I. Joe, a real American hero, in pretty much all of its forms. And the sillier the concept, the more we love it. In the toy channel, we have discussed Cold Slither, which is the fake band that Cobra and the Dreadnoks form to take over the world with rock and roll and also subliminal messaging.
Well,
on a number of occasions.
There was no subliminal messaging in the songs. They're like, we're going to take over the world with our terrorist organization.
But I watched the episode. They are subliminally, like, it's hypnotizing people. I had no choice but to review this comic when I saw it on the release list based on how much all of our buddies love it. Tim Seeley's story, it takes place sometime in the future of a kind of what-if version of the world where Cold Slither was unstoppable and Cobra actually conquered the United States. It's framed through this sort of like behind the music or where are they now kind of documentary. We learn that what happened in the original cartoon episode pretty much happened, except the rise of streaming sites like YouTube brought the video back they gained a foothold and the big band became popular enough so Cobra was able to win. But because it's all propaganda, right? They don't mention the mind control at all. It's all kind of like implied. And I thought that that was kind of clever. We catch up with the Dreadnoks. They're living like normal lives. Torch, I think, is like living in Minnesota, which they have renamed Cobra Soda. And I think that that is hilarious that Cobra renamed the places, but kind of half-assed it. Why would you keep the soda part of it? Of course, there's this push to get the band back together. The idiots actually missed the life, even though everything about their stardom was fake. There is a big twist at the end that I was mad I did not see coming. The band gets back together, they record a big hit, and then there's a twist, and I'm like, of course.
Of course.
Why didn't I see that coming? Juan Cabal's art, fantastic. He draws the hell out of this comic. He does a great hair metal band. I like him a lot. I wish he drew more stuff. The ending with the Dreadnoks is sort of sweet. They have kind of a happy ending. I thought that was nice. The thing is this. The whole concept is profoundly silly, even for G.I. Joe. It's like if we revisited the concept where Cobra wanted to take over the world with fast food restaurants. Like, it's that stupid. But the creators, they lean heavy into it, which I thought was great. And, you know, it has its charms, but I cannot imagine a cold Slither one-shot in the year of our Lord 2025 appealing to anyone outside of longtime fans of a certain age. I can see Matt wringing his hands, waiting, biting his tongue, but I'm giving this a strong skim it. I thought it was charming.
I kind of feel the same way about the Ultimate Hawkeye book that I do about this book. They are both, in my mind, supposed to be set in a universe that has been told with a certain tone, right? The Ultimate Hawkeye book in that Ultimate Universe, and the G.I. Joe book in the Joshua Williamson G.I. Joe universe, where other writers have written stuff too in that universe, but the tone carries. The tone is similar and works. And I get the exercise. This is not set in the G.I. Joe, a real American hero world, which continues the comic book. And this is not set in, you know, the Joshua Williamson Skybound G.I. Joe either. This is firmly in the cartoon world. I just wasn't ready for that tone, and it got old for me. Juan Cabal is great. His art's great. This is just kind of silly, to be perfectly honest.
It's definitely dumb.
And by the end, I was definitely done with it. Like, I was just like, okay, you did the joke. I get it. I still get it. I got it. Thanks. This is a skim at best. It just, I don't know. Maybe if it was half as long, I would have been like, oh, that's cute. Good art. Really good art.
Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers.
That is it for reviews, but we want to know what you thought of these gory, nihilistic, underrepresented, and head-banging comics. And anything else you're reading over on our Discord, where we talk about new comics every single Wednesday. Before we shift gears to next week, we need to pick one of these comics to enter the THN Permanent Collection. Matt, what's it going to be?
The best art by far goes to Skinbreaker, and that is saying something a week when Mikhail Janin was here as well, killing it. But I think Absolute Evil has just...
It's Absolute Evil, yes, 100%.
It just got me so excited about a line of comics that I didn't think I could be more excited for.
I agree with you. It's my pick as well. I think 1 year in, and DC has put all of their chips, like they've gone all, so to speak.
Okay.
They have gone all in.
They've absolutely gone all in.
I don't mean that as a cheeky pun. I mean, like, they have literally like put everything behind this absolute universe, and they are crushing it with title after title after title. Some of them aren't as good as others, but they're all at least pretty decent.
I'm going to say they're all great, and some are even greater than others. But like, let's be real. The Ultimate Universe is starting to show some wear. Like, this Hawkeye thing is fine. Ultimate Incursion, bad. Like, I don't know. I think DC is doing this exercise better right now. And I think there's a discussion to be had on the Gang Hang Ultimate Universe versus Absolute Universe. Who's winning?
I don't think you can.
And I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close.
Well, I agree with you. But I think that there is the more I read of the Ultimate Universe and the more that they're counting down to this thing with the Maker, and we know now that Jonathan Hickman's Spider-Man is ending with 25, which is just in a couple of months.
Which is the best book they put out.
But I think that there is a finish line in sight for this take on the Ultimate Universe. I think that once
don't kid yourself.
I think that it'll be
this Marvel
I
Comics,
think it will
baby.
come to a definitive ending.
You really think Marvel's going to be like, well, we did it. Let's call it a show here. Like, oh, do I need to like pull out all the Krakoa books we're going to check out?
I don't know what to tell you. Like, how many copies of Ultimate X-Men or Ultimate Black Panther do you think they sell?
I would nerd bet you that this does not stop with Ultimate Spider-Man.
I think that there is an endpoint in mind. Whether or not Marvel chooses to like drag it out beyond Hickman's plan is another question. But we already know that they've done that in the past with the X-Men line. So
Your tanners what's wrong. So learn to resist, 'cause Cobra is strong.
It's time to head to the THN Sanctum Sanctorum to make our must-read comic book picks for next Wednesday, October 8th. Joe Patrick, you can pick one comic book to give these children, all right? You're going to give it to them. And it's going to be the comic that represents the whole week.
well, hold on. I thought we were convincing them to
I'm
spend their
changing it
hard-earned
right
money
now.
on it.
I'm changing it right now. You're giving it to them, and you're going to say, this is great comics. Does this excite you? What comic are you giving them? You have to save comic books, Joe Patrick. You got to do it next week.
That's not how I pick my pick,
the
though,
guy.
and you know it.
Well, then you're killing comics, man.
My pick for next week is Transformers number 25 from Image / Skybound. It's written by Robert Kirkman with art by Jorge Corona and Dan Mora. I had them originally listed in reverse order, but Jorge Corona draws the lead story. Dan Mora comes in the hat.
Is Mora the regular artist?
Mora is the regular artist going forward from here. Yes.
Okay.
It's 40 pages for $4.99. At least I think that's how it's supposed to work, unless they're splitting it. And that's how Dan Mora can do multiple books in 1 month.
Oh,
I don't know.
Dan Mora might be multiple people. He's a mystery man.
The burden is on Dan Mora to prove he's not 3 kids in a trench coat, not on me. So I picked this because this is the first issue of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora's run on the book. They've got an almost impossible act to follow. Daniel Warren Johnson just ended his run. It is 24 incredible issues that are a must read for any comic fan, let alone any Transformers fan.
Yeah, not just the best Transformers comic ever written. This is going to be up there for some of the best comic book storytelling, like in the 2000s, easily.
In the modern age,
Yeah.
certainly. I'm very excited to see if Kirkman and Mora can pull it off. I know that Mora's got the chops. Kirkman is, he doesn't bat 1,000. Sometimes his stuff isn't everybody's favorite, like Void Rivals or Skinbreaker.
Sure. Although, right that Void Rivals is boring and wrong about Skinbreaker. Different argument.
Matt, what's your pick of the week, and how can I insult you about it?
Next pick, I'm going with High Strangeness, #1 from Oni Press. It's written by Chris Condon and Daniel Noah. Joe pointed out that Daniel Noah was a paranormal experiencer. Therefore, can he be that good? To which I would say, Joe, that's kind of victim shaming. He had an experience.
How is it that you're throwing me under the bus in your own pick as well as mine?
Can't explain it, and
Knock
you
it
just
off.
victim shame like this. I won't allow it. It's got art by Dave Chisholm, 40 pages for $7.99. I picked this because Spectrovision, first of all, puts out a bunch of really great horror movies. This is Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah. It's their company. They're buddies. They love horror. They love comics. They also put out podcasts, which are very good. This is their first foray into comics. Chris Condon is excellent. We love his work. He's working on Ultimate Wolverine. He wrote that Texas Blood. The guy is incredible. These stories are going to look into these moments of high strangeness. And when we say high strangeness, anybody who follows UFO stories or Bigfoot stories or, government conspiracy theory understands what it means. It's these stories where reality is not what it seems and can get really strange and often messes with the point of view of the person in the situation. This first storyline is all about the Men in Black in 1960s, like when they first started to show up and discredit people that had UFO stories. I love these Men in Black stories. Not the Will Smith ones, but like the real Men in Black stories.
I got real excited there.
Men in Black 1 was fun. It was good. I liked it. But after that, it kind of lost its way. I think this looks great. It's an expensive comic, but it's perfect bound. So it is a very nicely produced, thick
prestige
book.
Format is another way to phrase that for those of you that are old school DC fans. You know, I was going to make fun of you for picking this, but whatever. I've run out of care. I don't care.
I beat you down too much.
Yeah, you did.
Excelsior!
That's it for THN 791. If you dig our new comics review show, and maybe not so much the back issue show, or you just want to hear the back issue show, or you know what? Give me that gang hang. You can listen to all these separately on YouTube, or you can download them wherever you download podcasts. All we ask is that you star or you subscribe, give us a like, a little review, because it moves us up in the algorithm. You guys know the rules, all right? We need your help.
Smash the bell, donate $100 a month, you know, whatever.
Someone needs to tell our AI overlords that this is content produced by human beings that we actually like, and we want someone else to hear it. We are taking next week off, but we'll be back with another new comic show the week after that.
But if you need more THN until that time, join us for the THN Gang Hang on Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central Time. You can check out our Discord for details at twoheadednerd.com/Discord.
THN is a listener-supported podcast, and this Italian American Heritage Month, it wouldn't be possible without the generosity of donors like our patron and loved paisan, Franklin Cirillo. Hey, Frankie. You're one of the good ones. Come here. Look at you.
Forget about it, Frankie. Forget about it.
If you support the show like Frank, you can hear this week's extra part 2 with THN Top 5 Countdown featuring our favorite obscure and underrated Batman characters. It was Batman Day this month, too. So, you Italians, you got to share.
A lot of weird observances.
You Italians got to share with the Dark Knight. Sorry, folks. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
All right? You can sign up to be a patron, of course, at patreon.com/twoheadednerd.
If you love the show like Frank and you don't mind your culture being lovingly mocked, you can donate by signing up at patreon.com/twoheadednerd. Before we go, speaking of Italians, I didn't even plan this. Our weekly shout out goes to the maestro of movie posters, Renato Casaro, who passed away on Tuesday. He might not be a household name among casual movie fans. He certainly wasn't to me. But if you are a nerd of a certain age, you definitely grew up loving his work without even knowing it. Casaro is responsible for an incredible number of unforgettable, iconic posters, including Conan the Barbarian, Flash Gordon, Dune, The Neverending Story, the Rambo series, The Running Man, Total Recall, T2, and on and on and on. He was so beloved in the industry that Quentin Tarantino commissioned him to come out of retirement to create a series of fake movie posters for fake Italian westerns that Leonardo DiCaprio's character Rick Dalton starred in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Nebraska Jim. Joe Tanner and Tanner.
Casaro was 89 years old. Arrivederci, maestro.
Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comics, or your retailer might just vote for Cobra Commander and you're going to end up living in Cobraska in no time. This is the Two-Headed Nerd, signing off.